Liam McHugh here from Football Night in America. So great to be joined by Arik Armstead of the 49ers. We have San Francisco against the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. Arik, all right, the good news is that your team is getting healthier. The bad news, of course, is that your team was absolutely ravaged by injuries. Nick Bosa done for the season, several injuries on the defensive side. On the offensive side, you're starting quarterback, running back, tight end, receivers are banged up. I get the whole idea of next man up. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around next 11 men up. How have you guys managed to deal with this?
I think just staying ready. We have a really deep roster, a bunch of talent all over the field. So, we really do take that next man up mentality, whether it's one man or 11 men. I think we have the guys to get the job done. And so no matter what goes on out there, we got to find a way to win. For
Kyle Shanahan, what's been his message over the last couple of weeks?
His message has been to keep playing. It's a long season. We're just getting started, and the message was really, we had injuries last year, and we were still able to make a run. And this year could be the same as long as we play to the standard we're capable of playing of. And I think we did a great job of doing that the past 2 weeks.
If Jimmy Garoppolo can't go, it's going to be Nick Mullins again. Eagles coach Doug Peterson, he had an interesting thought on this. Let's face it, there's a guy he's no stranger to winning with a backup quarterback. Obviously won a Super Bowl with one, but he looks at Nick Mullins and he says, I don't see a backup quarterback. I see a second starting quarterback. What do you think of that assessment?
I think it's a pretty fair assessment. Nick went out there when he got the nod to start and did his job, and he did it very well. And he led us to a victory. I think he proved to a lot of people what he was capable of. And, I'm excited for his career and to see, where he's going to take this opportunity.
You played those back-to-back games in MetLife. I'm sure it was difficult going back to MetLife after everything that happened in week 2. You're playing on that turf field. I saw, from the NFLPA president, this idea that going forward in the future, I'd really like to see all games played on grass. You obviously play on grass at Levi's Stadium. Is that what you would prefer?
I would prefer that. I enjoy playing on grass. It brings back those, young days, young football days of playing on grass stains, that smell of the fresh grass. And there's been studies that, it reduces injuries, and the percentage of injuries on turf fields go up. So I'm all for playing on grass and, everybody having grass.
Biggest news in the NFL right now, it's clearly COVID related. It's the positive COVID tests within the Tennessee Titans organization. Ultimately, that's wound up postponing that Tennessee-Pittsburgh game. How closely are you guys following all this? And, has it refreshed in your mind just how serious this is and how serious you have to take it?
Yeah, in a situation like this, definitely refreshes, kind of the severity of the situation we're all in. COVID isn't over with, even though you can get into, your routine and things can feel a bit normal at times. It's not over with, so we got to continue to stay safe, practice social distancing, practice, hygiene and cleaning. And so, it definitely is a reminder of how serious everything going on is.
Yeah, I look back at your story, and you're someone who's familiar with the idea of a serious medical condition derailing football. Your older brother was obviously a big-time player, played at USC, played a year in the CFL, but had some serious heart issues. And before he even could play a snap for the New England Patriots, he wound up having to retire from football. Mm-hmm. This is your older brother, a guy you look up to. What kind of an effect did that have on you?
It had a huge effect on me. The reason I started playing football was because of him. I grew up playing basketball, and my brother was the aggressive football player in the family. And everybody was looking at me like, are you going to be like your brother? And so I decided to start playing and to see what I got because I wanted to be like him. And he definitely was a big influence on my life and my football career. And his career was cut short. And so I try to, make him proud with my career.
Well, I'm glad you brought up basketball because I know you played both sports at Oregon. Your dad, basketball coach, trains professional basketball players. How close were you to choosing hoops?
I love both. I wanted to play both at a high level. I actually want to be the first person to play in the NBA and the NFL. and how young-minded I was, if that was possible. But yeah, I love both. I fell in love with football in 8th grade though. It was great for me to be able to play such a skillful sport and such an aggressive sport where I could have kind of both of my personalities show, and I could kind of transform into different kind of people, whether I'm on the court or whether I'm on the field. So I love playing both. I was pretty close to, choosing basketball. That was kind of my first love, but I'm glad I chose this route, and I love playing this game.
Yeah, well, it's worked out pretty well. I mean, it seems like you made a good choice. I'm curious, are you the best basketball player in the NFL?
Uh, I mean, I don't know all the guys that can hoop in the NFL. There's some pretty talented guys. I'll go out there and say I am though.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't. We could test
Well,
the
no.
theory.
Hey, listen, it's out there now.
We could test the theory, but I would say I am.
Okay, so who's your NBA comp? Like who would you say I have a game like this guy?
I kind of played like Boris Diaw a little bit. If people are familiar with the way he
Yeah.
plays, a skillful big, can shoot a little bit, big body in the low post, but can step out, stretch the floor a little bit. I would say I would kind of compare my game to him.
That's an interesting comparison. You don't hear that. He's got a bit of an old man game.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't high flying above the rim, but I had a skillful game.
All right, yeah, you don't see a lot of people with Boris Diaw like posters on their wall growing up.
Nah,
But hey,
nah,
you know
nah.
your game, you know what works for you. So,
Hmm.
all right, so you're young, you've got a big career ahead of you. You know the deal, though, in the NFL. Older players are telling you not everybody gets to play in the Super Bowl. You got a chance. You played in the Super Bowl. You didn't win. And then people say not everybody gets back. How hard was it to get over the Super Bowl loss?
Yeah, it was tough. That was a game you dream of playing in, and not every game goes your way. And obviously, that game didn't go our way. But I'm excited about the opportunity this year. I think we have the roster to get the job done and get back to that level. So I'm excited about the new journey to get there. That's in the past. You can't really do anything about it. So all you can do is move on.
Now you're into this new journey. That's a season, let's face it, season like no other we've ever seen. It was an off season, unlike any off season we've ever seen. Obviously, there's COVID. There's what happened with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the fight for social justice. You've been someone who's been out there. You've been active. You've been willing to speak out. How much did this off season change you?
This off season, changed me a lot. A lot went on this off season, both personally and around the world and around the country. It changed me in a lot of ways. I got married. I feel like I matured a lot. I feel like I'm coming into my responsibility as a citizen a lot more too, challenging myself to grow in that area and be socially conscious. And I have a baby on the way too. So a lot has changed. But I'm excited about all the change. I feel like I'm moving into the right direction that God wants me to move.
What do you think your responsibility is now off the field in terms of promoting social justice?
My responsibility is to make society better. I believe that if we all take the approach of making society better when we leave this earth, then we'll make and leave it better for the next generation. Then if we take that responsibility upon ourselves, then we can make this world a better place. So my responsibility is to use my platform, my resources, my intelligence, to make others' lives better, to push positive things in the world, to help people, to educate people. So that's my responsibility as a part of this society.
How have the conversations changed between you and your teammates in the past few months? How deep have you guys gotten into everything?
Yeah, I think they've been pretty authentic too. The conversations have been, and just creating more understanding. As football players and playing a part of a team, we all have one common goal. We're able to come together and share the field with one another, share a locker room with one another. But situations like what we've been going through as a country create another level, a deeper conversation in terms of getting more into our backgrounds of experiences we've been through, and what differs there, and what commonalities are there too. And I think we're finding out that we're a lot more alike than we are different. And we want a lot of the same things. We want equality. We want people to be treated fairly. And so that's been pretty exciting to see.
You know, Arik, every week we highlight a player's cause, something that they're very passionate about off the field. This week, your cause, could you describe it for us?
My cause would be education reform. I launched the Armstead Academic Project, and it's all about bringing equality to our public education system. I don't feel that it's fair that based on your zip code or where you live will determine the type of education you will receive. I don't feel that it's fair that certain students and certain youth in our country lack the opportunities and the education to be successful later in life. And I feel everyone should have the access to a good education so they can go on and get a good job and raise educated children and, make a living for themselves. That's the American dream, but it's not attainable for all of society. So my cause is education reform and bringing equity to our public education system.
What sparked this desire for you?
When I sat down and thought about how I can have the biggest impact, education was glaring for me. Just growing up and seeing some of my peers go through situations where, their track was decided before they even knew what was going on. They placed kids in tracks to fail, and you have to overcome so much just to have a fair shot. And when you look at our country is set up in a way where pretty much the only way to get a high-paying job, unless you're an entrepreneur, but for the masses, to get a high-paying job is to go to college and become educated, and that's how you make a good living. And so education is the key.
Take me back in time. You're younger, you're in middle school, you're in high school. How much was it stressed, your education and your schoolwork?
Education was huge. My parents always instilled that into us, was to take care of school first. And, being an athlete, realizing that I wanted to be different and to go to the next level and separate myself from my peers. Education in school was always number one. You couldn't have a career without your education. So I took it very important to my life. And, I feel that if we address that issue and everyone takes it serious and we all care about educating our youth, then we'll be better moving forward.
Arik, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Good luck with everything that's going on the field and off the field this season.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.